All right, grab a seat because this one's a wild ride. Ever had someone try to take what's rightfully yours with all the arrogance of a dictator and the subtlety of a freight train? Yeah, that was Sophia Brown. I wasn't expecting to get tangled up with the HOA, let alone fight the kind of battle that felt like it belonged in a courtroom drama. It all started on a perfectly normal afternoon. Well, perfect if you don't count the fact that I had just retired from a corporate life of balance sheets and boardrooms, hoping to settle into the serenity of Lakewood Estates, my little slice of peace. Then Sophia Brown had to go and mess it all up. Picture this. I'm out by my dock sipping whiskey and admiring the glistening waters of Lakewood Estates. It was supposed to be my haven, my escape. Then out of nowhere, here comes Sophia. And when I say here comes Sophia, I mean she comes marching down the dock like she owns the entire lake. She's the HOA president, and she lets everyone know it. Her sunglasses flash like warning lights as she cuts through the calm air and tells me I've already booked your yacht for 40 guests this weekend, Michael. Wait, what? My yacht? The one I've spent a decade saving for. Her booking my boat. This wasn't happening. Refuse and you'll be fined, she snaps, her voice dripping with that trademark HOA tone. The HOA rules are law here. I stood there staring at her. And for a split second I thought to myself, maybe I'll just let her have this. Let her think she's in control. But then I remembered something. This lake, the marina, the dock, they're all mine. Yeah, I'd been quiet about it, kept to myself, but this wasn't just about a yacht, it was about something bigger. Funny thing, Sophia, I said, slowly setting down my glass of whiskey. This yacht, the dock you're standing on, even this marina, I paused, letting the weight of those words sink in. They all belong to me. And just like that, Sophia's smug smile faltered. Now let me back up a bit. You need some context to understand how all this started. I retired after 25 years of corporate life, mergers, board meetings, nonstop pressure. I wanted peace. A lake house, a yacht, mornings with coffee by the water. Simple, right? Lakewood Estates seemed perfect on paper. It was a gated community with its own private lake surrounded by beautiful homes, a marina with docks, refueling stations, even a small cafe. I figured after all those years of hard work I deserved a slice of tranquility. But the reality of Lakewood Estates had a dark side. See, this place wasn't run by just a bunch of neighbors who wanted a peaceful life. No. It was run by the HOA led by Sophia Brown, who was more like a queen than a community leader. She'd been in charge for years and she wasn't giving up power anytime soon. And trust me, if there's one thing I've learned in life, it's that people who crave power, they don't let go easily. Her house, the one by the lake's curve, was something straight out of a Mansion magazine. White columns, a rose garden, and security cameras on every corner. The first time I met her, she didn't even say hello. No, she immediately launched into a critique of my parking. You're too close to the curb, she said. Welcome to the neighborhood, right? Sophia wasn't just the HOA president, she was a tyrant with a clipboard. Her inner circle, 5 other wealthy retirees who worshipped her, enforced every little rule. New paint color. Sophia had to approve it. Lawn too long. Expect a fine. American flag too big. You'd better shrink it or get slapped with a fee. It didn't take long for me to figure out that if you didn't play by Sophia's rules, you were the problem. At first I stayed out of it, paid my dues, waved to my neighbors, and kept my distance. I figured if I kept my head down, I'd be fine. And for a while I was. But then I noticed something strange. The marina, the one I thought was part of the HOA. Turns out it wasn't. After some digging, I found out the marina and the docks were still owned by the original developers. The HOA had never actually purchased them. So when the developers offered to sell the marina to me privately without all the HOA politics, I jumped at the chance. No one knew. I kept it quiet. For nearly 2 years, life went on as usual. I spent my days out on the lake, the yacht sparkling in the sun, the peace I'd worked so hard for finally mine. And then one day Sophia noticed my yacht. That's when the storm started. I remember it so clearly. I was polishing the railings of my yacht when I heard the sharp click of her heels behind me. There she was, arms crossed, eyes narrowed like she was about to interrogate me. She looked at Serenity, my 60-foot yacht, and with a forced smile said, "Very community-spirited of you." Community-spirited, what does that even mean? Then it hit me. Sophia wasn't just nosy. She was delusional. She thought she could take my yacht and turn it into a community asset. A week later, I saw it in the HOA newsletter. Residents are encouraged to participate in the marina sharing program. Wait, what? Sharing my yacht. That's when I decided it was time to stand my ground. I called Sophia. I think you got your facts wrong, I said. This yacht is private property. She didn't budge. She just doubled down and said, all marina property falls under HOA oversight. I called my lawyer, Daniel Pierce. He laughed. She's bluffing. There's no bylaw that gives her the right to commandeer your yacht. Just ignore it. But ignoring Sophia Brown, not an option. She quickly turned the neighborhood against me. The whispers started. People called me selfish for not sharing my yacht, my private property. Sophia had turned the HOA into a mob, and I was the villain. I attended my first HOA meeting hoping it would be a simple discussion. Nope. Sophia stood there like a queen, making it sound like I was the one ruining the neighborhood's harmony. When the vote happened, they passed it, 67 to 33. Sophia's inner circle had secured their victory. But that wasn't the end. No, that was just the beginning. I sent a legal response. I stood firm. The marina was mine. Sophia's little game wasn't over, though. She started sending fines emails at all hours, driving around my property, taking photos. But the most infuriating part, it was personal now. She wasn't just after my yacht. She was after my peace. But that's the thing about bullies, they underestimate you. One Saturday morning, Sophia and her inner circle showed up at the marina to inspect my property. I wasn't having it. When I told her she was trespassing, she smirked. We'll see about that, she said. But I stood my ground. If you want to walk on this dock again, bring a lawyer. The battle raged on. But it wasn't until the night of the final HOA meeting that Sophia's empire began to crumble. She stood in front of the room spewing her usual nonsense, showing slides of my yacht like it was some public resource. I didn't hold back. Sophia, you're proposing to let people use private property without permission. That's theft, not sharing. The room went quiet. When I pulled out the legal documents proving I owned the marina, Sophia's smile faltered for the first time. This isn't possible, she said, trying to save face. But it didn't matter. The damage had already been done. She had overplayed her hand, and the crowd was starting to realize it. The vote didn't go in her favor. She was out as HOA president. I was victorious. The marina was mine. And Sophia, well, she got what she deserved. She thought she could break me, but instead she broke herself. As I stood there watching her storm off, I knew one thing: peace had finally returned to Lakewood Estates. But the real victory wasn't just in the property or the yacht. It was in standing my ground and reminding everyone that when it comes to power, sometimes the truth is the strongest weapon. So here's a thought for you. When people like Sophia try to take your peace, your property, or your life, how far are you willing to go to take it back? What's your line in the sand? Let me know in the comments. And if you've ever had to fight back against something that wasn't right, share your story. Let's talk.
Cảm ơn các bạn đã xem video.